Good morning and happy blessed Friday. I think about the types of relationships that I'm in and whether they be the ones I was born into or the ones that I've created by allowing myself to be open to meeting new people. And I had a very valuable lesson taught to me by someone who I deeply love and care about. And I think I was too young to fully understand it at the time. And so there was a lot of unprocessed information, but in the end, I'm very thankful that I was able to deeply reflect and to be able to understand what was being offered to me. And when you're younger and in relationship, I believe a lot of you looks externally to people or a person on the outside to fill you up, to give you the things that you feel like you need and you deserve. But if you don't know what those things are, it kind of falls on deaf ears, meaning you don't hear, you don't feel, you don't receive whatever it is someone's giving you. That if the person gave you the world, if you didn't know the parts of the world or the world itself that fed the things in you or the things that you loved, it wouldn't matter, that it would just fall on you and it wouldn't be appreciated. And so, what that brings me to is understanding who you are as an individual and knowing how to give yourself what you need before you can even ask someone else to. And a great example is self love. You have to love yourself before you can ask someone to love you. Because if someone comes in loving you and they're giving you all that they have or the best that they have, it wouldn't matter because it would be like feeding a black hole or a bottomless pit. It wouldn't matter because you wouldn't know what to do with it. It would be like feeding you, and you never get full. But if you know what it takes to get you full yourself, then you know when enough is enough, and you know how to validate how you love yourself and how to gauge when someone else is loving you. Um, and these are just experiences of understanding yourself before you can ask someone else to understand you. And when you don't love yourself or you don't understand yourself, I think it feels very disappointing, or you become easily disappointed in other people. You feel like they're failing you or they're not meeting the mark, or maybe your expectations are too high. But if you've ever been out of a relationship and single and had time to self-reflect, you then can appreciate when someone does come into your life and into your space and they're offering you something. And I'm not saying every time someone offers you something, it's the best thing since sliced bread. I think that when you have time for self reflection and self love, in that time and space, I call it God time and space and the Holy Spirit time and space, and in that quiet space, there are revelations. There is clarity that comes to you that gives you insight and understanding. It's that voice you hear that tells you things. Um, and it seems so crisp and clear. And sometimes we pay attention to it and sometimes we don't. But it's there for a reason nonetheless. Um, and so in my alone time and in my time and space and my God time and my self-reflection, I just feel so very full and grateful that I can hear myself think and to be able to decide what it is that I need and how I need it and where those things came from or the times that I didn't or I couldn't, why and what was going on in my life. Um, and so it's clarity. It's loving yourself and giving yourself the things that you need. I'm just a person where if I can't do it for myself, I typically don't ask someone to do it for me. And I'm sure I have some work to do around that. But I'm just very clear of not asking people for things that I couldn't do for myself or I couldn't do for them unless I'm in a position to do so. So, love yourself before you ask someone to love you. Know how to take care of you so that when someone comes in and they're trying to take care of you, that you don't cause them any harm by rejecting something that maybe that's all they know, and that you can then teach someone how to love you. You can then be open to receiving the ways in which different people know how to love and know how to love you. And I'm not saying all love and all things that are offered to you are good, but when you do know yourself well enough, you know what's healthy for you know what's good for you, and you definitely know when enough is enough. Thank you for listening. I love you. Happy Blessed Friday.